Hey guys, the Unsmooth Criminal, and I am back. So, I'm probably going to start premiering all my videos in the morning. This is probably going to be a premiere, but I'm going to probably start doing that. And if I get distracted during this video, sorry, I have to do some stuff in the background. It's called folding envelopes for my father. But this is part 2 of Bound in Blood. Or Bound by Blood, whatever you want to call it. I think I put Bound in Blood or Bound by. I don't remember. I'll look when I'm uploading. But one quick note, I'm gonna try and keep up the 4 video. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna put 4 videos out a week, but it may not always be on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. And if you guys want to really do a Q&A with me, you can start spamming the chat Q&A, or Chaos Stream in chat while Sunday's on from the time noon on. So if you guys do have any questions, I will go into the Q&A chat and start answering questions if you have them. That's a quick little note. So we start this episode of, I think it's Bound by Blood. Hold on, let me check. It's Bound by Blood. Here's part 2. We start our story off with a splash. And Izumi wakes up in this fluid and she starts looking around, and with her night vision she can see that there's fluid everywhere. And one little definition of night vision. So when I say night vision, I'm thinking actual night vision where it's gray and black, but they can't see the colors, but they can still see. That kind of night vision. And she's just hearing the tapping sound of a shoe. Like a high heel. And she keeps hearing it over and over and over again. And she's just looking around where it is, and she finally sees a figure. She sees herself. And herself says, "You know you're not wanted. You know you don't want to be here. You know you just want to let go. Go crazy. Because that feeling you get while eating. You just know that feeling and you want it. You want to keep that feeling. Because you and me are connected. We both know that feeling is heaven." And at this moment, Izumi starts to tear up. And this woman keeps talking. They didn't want you. Because when you actually did taste some, you went crazy. You went absolutely crazy and killed them. Well, at least her. You left the other guy really wounded. And now I have to deal with those memories. Because you blocked him out. That entire rampage you blocked out. That's why they call you the number one. That's why they don't want you around. That is why. And she's like, "Shut up. Shut up. It isn't me. It's you." And she goes, No. That's us. And she just waves her hand, and this figure pops up, and Izumi recognizes it and starts screaming, "No." Then another figure pops up and says, "You're not my daughter, you're a monster." And a few others pop up, and all they're doing is screaming and yelling, "Monster, monster." And these are all adults. Izumi starts to cry, like heavily cry. And while she's crying, in the real world, Hagakure wakes up. Hagakure took Izumi to her dorm because Izumi doesn't have a room yet. And Izumi's room has to be monitored 24/7. And the only one who seems to be able to cancel Izumi's quirk is Aizawa, even though he's not known for canceling mutation quirks. So he was put in charge of keeping an eye on Izumi, and Hagakure wakes up to the silent crying of someone crying in their sleep. So Hagakure looks at Izumi and sees that Izumi's the one crying. And she starts to worry, because it's not normal crying. She's crying tears of blood. So she hits the intercom, the emergency intercom that everybody has in their dorm room, that they can use if their quirk goes out of control, so Aizawa can get there quickly. Aizawa runs up there and asks what's going on, and Hagakure says that Izumi's crying blood, and that this is not normal. And Aizawa says, of course it's not normal, because no one's supposed to be crying blood. But did you notice anything else before this happened? And she goes, no, all I did was wake up to crying. Back in Izumi's mind, because obviously if it's a world of blood, it's not the real world. Back in Izumi's mind, she's still being tormented by these figures. And we go off to someone currently in his house, drinking his heart out because his past is catching up with him. And it's like, why did that monster come back? I put her in that prison. Why did she have to come back? I never wanted to see her again after she did that to her mother. Hopefully I don't have to teach her. And this man gets a call, and the guy on the other line is like, are you still drinking your heart out? And he goes, no. If I was drinking my heart out, I'd be drinking freaking Fireball and just malt liquor. No. I'm drinking rum and every kind of liquor. Because why wouldn't I? Especially since my past is catching up to me and it's currently where I have to teach. And this man starts to laugh and says, that's what you get for not listening to me. And he goes, shut up, Night Eye. I forgot Night Eye's real name, so I'm just going to reference him as Night Eye. And he goes, whatever. Well, I got to get back to work. This was just a social call saying that she's going to do something big, and you're going to be proud and a little annoyed at this, too. And he goes, that monster can't do anything right. And he goes, whatever you say. And Night Eye stamps a paper and puts it in the file to go to UA. And we go back to Izumi in her mind. And she sees an image that she hasn't seen in forever. Her father going from a small French fry that she normally sees to a big buff guy and jumping off. And this was one of the days that she got thoroughly beaten by her father because of how she looked. Her mother has brown hair. Her father, blonde hair. She blood red hair, blood red eyes, and fangs. She kind of looked like Toga, just with red hair and red eyes. Hi, Jack. You're not going to go out that way if I even open it, so no. Yeah, my cat just said hi. So you go back to the man who's sitting on his couch, and he goes, God damn it. I go and try to make a worthy child that's not a monster, and guess what I get? A goddamn monster. Damn right for that whore of a wife to birth a monster and die to the monster. And this man is just ripping into his daughter and his wife and says that he should have just found a worthy successor for it before he got married. No, Leo. Bad Leo. No. So he's currently drinking his life away again. And he gets another call. He gets a call from Nezu saying, so you did it again. And your daughter is here. And this man pales and says, how do you know that she's my daughter? And he goes, I didn't. It was a hunch. Thanks for confirming it. And by the way, you're now the teacher of 1B. He goes, what? And Nezu says, oh, and I'm calling an endeavor for the teacher of 1A. I'm also releasing this to the public. So if you even try to attack me, you know what happens. He goes, yeah. So at a certain police station with a certain detective, he gets a notification. It's from his journalism friend. And this detective looks at the information and says, we just got an anonymous tip that All Might had a daughter, and that daughter is the number one villain. And now Masa sees this and goes, what? How could he not have told me he had a daughter? I thought we were close friends. So he calls up All Might and says, okay, first off, what the hell? I thought we were friends. Second off, you have a daughter? He goes, damn it. Yeah, I have a daughter. And when her quirk activated, she went on a rampage and killed lots of people. And he goes, and what happened after that? And he goes, I don't know. Next thing I know, she's locked up and I can't visit her. And he's acting all sad because he wants to play this off. And he goes, don't give me that crap. I just got another email from Nezu. And he goes, oh, crap. And he's like, fine, I won't spare you the theatrics. Yeah. She's my daughter. She also killed her mother. That whore deserved it. Back with Izumi in her head. She's still crying blood, by the way. This has been like 5-10 minutes. She's still crying blood. And her eyes are now open. Her eyes are thoroughly bloodshot, and her pupils have dilated to the size of a toothpick. That thin. And she wants nothing more than just blood. Her instincts are kicking in. She's still asleep. She's still in the mindscape. But her instincts are kicking in, and she's about to attack whoever comes near her. But her quirk can't activate because Aizawa is keeping an eye on her. And since he doesn't have chronic dry eye, all he has to do is look at her and every once in a while put eye drops in his eyes so his eyes don't dry out and he has to blink. So she's stuck in bed and her eyes are wide open. Her fangs are elongated and she can't stop it. He's stopping the strength enhancement, the speed enhancement, the perception enhancement. So I'm going to put this in game stats. Strength, agility, dexterity, and wisdom. They're multiplied by 20. And he's stopping all that. So her instincts can't take over. And she's thrashing around. But since she's locked down and her instinct and her quirk can't activate so she can't break out, she's thrashing around to no avail. In her mind, she's fighting like her life depends on it. Because it kind of does. And each time she punches something or taps some blood creature, she gains a flood of memories that make her cry even more. Until finally she sees this buff hero and she doesn't know why, but she feels so pissed off as she just wants to rip his head off. And he walks up to her and she can't lift her arms now. She just can't feel like she can lift her arms. Now, after seeing this man, she also sees that she's small. And she's looking around and she sees that she's in her home. And she starts feeling hungry. She's truly hungry in the real world, but in her mindscape, she's starting to feel hungry, which is very bad because her instincts are going to kick into overdrive in a moment. If anybody remembers the blood-sucking Nico, you will all remember what I did with the blood types. She gets a sense of euphoria when she's eating. Here, she does not. Except for one blood type. And that's a very special blood type that, if I remember correctly, is rare. And that is AB negative. If I remember correctly, that's one of the rarest blood types. So if I remember correctly. I may not. Yeah, I may not. But. She's currently freaking out. And Aizawa sees that the restraints are now straining against her strength. Because if anybody knows the Skyrim vampires, some of them get stronger as they get hungrier. So, yes, I'm taking inspiration from every vampire kind of story, and I'm still waiting for you guys to tell me what kind of vampire stories. No Vampire Diaries and no Twilight. We don't want any glitter people here. And she's getting stronger and stronger just by pure hunger and instincts taking over. And she finally breaks the restraints that they were put on her. And the closest person to her, just by coincidence, because she's a millimeter closer than Aizawa, is Hagakure. And in a split second, Izumi's on top of Hagakure and has bitten into Hagakure's neck. Into both arteries. And she's just drinking Hagakure's blood up. Like it's a buffet. Hagakure passes out from blood loss. She's not going to die. Don't worry. And with just a lick of A being negative blood, she can... Or is it? Yeah, A being negative. She starts to feel a sense of euphoria and she starts to calm down. So her instincts go into drowsy mode, like she needs to sleep, like you've been up for 2 weeks straight and that you need to sleep. Which I don't suggest you stay up for more than 12 hours, because even 12 hours of sleep is still not enough for some people.
Your meeting.
Okay, I'm back. So, where was I? Oh yeah. She's being tormented by memories, and she sees that that she's in a ignore that little view of my pictures. Yeah. Yes, I did. Ignore that. So it's been, or no, she just latched on to Hagakure, and Hagakure is passed out from blood loss, and Izumi's now on the floor in a euphoric state because of the blood that she just drank. And Aizawa sees that she is in this state and asks Recovery Girl what happened, because Recovery Girl is currently in the room just in case somebody gets hurt. So Recovery Girl heals Hagakure, and Hagakure wakes up and sees that Izumi is sleeping peacefully now. And that's subjective from the outside. She looks like she's sleeping peacefully. In her mind, she is still getting thoroughly beaten by her father. And she's just taking it at this point. She can't do anything to him because he's too strong. So she finally hears the name of her father, because a hero called it just to make sure that he was ready for a raid that they're going to do on a villain's hideout. And he says, yeah, coming. So he quickly cleans up his knuckles because they're a little bloody from his child. And he finally walks up to her and puts a gag in her mouth and crushes her fangs. And since she has a gag in her mouth, she can't yell, so she starts to cry again, because she remembers every single ounce of pain from those memories. And one day, he comes back, and he's drunk. He buffs up and starts beating her again. And she just loses it. Her mother was home at that time, and she has never seen these beatings because she's normally out on hero work. Trying to actually protect people with mutation quirks. And her mother walks in and sees that her father's beating her, and that Izumi's losing it. Absolutely losing it. And finally, Izumi goes dead face, gets slammed one more time, just breaking almost every single vertebrae in her spine because he just hammer fisted her head. Hammer fist is when you make a fist and then you do the hammering motion. Hammer fist. And it shattered almost every single one of her spine, and her quirk fully activated at that point. And her quirk was named Blood when it's in control, but its real name for when it's released is Queen of the Vampires. And she starts flipping out. She puts a hole in All Might's side, ripping out a few of his organs, crushing a few of his organs. And she's in a frenzy, so she doesn't know what she's doing. And she runs over and rips out her mother's throat. And she's finally seeing this for the first time. She ripped out her own mother's throat and started to drink the blood from her mother. And her mother was AB negative. So she immediately went into a euphoric state and laid on the ground next to her. And her father, having some of his blood drank from her licking the blood off of her hand from ripping her mother's throat out, he heals perfectly. Like he's at the top of his game. And the wound that he had from his all-for-one fight is gone. Completely gone. So, her mother's dead on the ground. She does not heal from this wound because there's too much damage. And Izumi just drank every single drop of blood that her mother had. So, Izumi killed her mother from blood loss. And All Might, he is healed. He's 100%. He's prime All Might. But he is thoroughly pissed off. So he grabs her by the fangs, literally grabbing her fangs and ripping them out, grabbing her by the hair and taking her to the police station saying this is a villain. She just killed multiple people and that I subdued her by a fierce fight. And everybody sees the blood on his side, and she's still in a euphoric state where she's just gotten beat the hell up, but there's no damage on her. And they all ask what is her quirk, and he goes, I don't know, it seems like she has some kind of regeneration quirk on top of a blood quirk, because she started drinking my blood, and I healed and she healed, so I don't know. And he completely lied through his teeth to the police station, and now Masa, seeing that All Might got seriously injured, but this girl's quirk saved him from not dying, goes, okay, this is a very dangerous criminal, we need to lock her away. And All Might put fake stories out there and told them of what she's done, which she hasn't done. And he said that he's been tracking this one villain, and there was another vampire villain from a while ago that he knows exactly where all the bodies are and what has been happening, and this villain was recently brought in, and they were put in the petty theft area because they paid off All Might to keep his mouth shut about the bodies. So All Might's like, yeah, all these bodies were her, and I know exactly where all of them are because I've been tracking her, I've seen this, and I finally had a chance to catch her because she was she hit the downside of her quirk, and now she's in this kind of state. So they quickly wrap her up, they chain her up, they put a gag in her mouth, and it's been a year now, and she's finally allowed to not have a gag in her mouth. They don't have to feed her through a tube. She's been on good behavior, so they've taken the gag out, taken the tube out, so she can walk around just a tiny bit, but she can still not talk very much because she had her throat crushed. Her eyes are completely ripped out of their sockets every single day, so she can't, because it seems to irradiate from her eyes. Whenever her eyes start glowing, she starts activating her quirk. And they've been testing her and poking and prodding her. And they've injected DNA into her. They've been pulling DNA out. They've been doing so many experiments on her illegally, because All Might says you can do whatever the hell you want with her because she's a number one villain. She put up a great fight against me, so do whatever the hell you want with her. She's not going to get out. And then she remembers every single time that needle pierced her skin. Every single time they ripped out a fang. Every single time that they pulled a fingernail. That they pulled a toenail. That they've cut off fingers. That they've cut off toes. That they've broken a bone. That they've injected something into her that caused her severe pain. They injected something into her that should have killed her, but she barely stayed alive. And over those years, she regressed into an infant-like state of mind, where she sees a few people as trustworthy and that she will completely do anything around, but whenever she sees something new or someone new, that she would regress back into an infant and be shy. And she went back into the hero mindset because she blocked all the memories of the beatings and everything. So she doesn't know any of this. She didn't know any of this happened. And she's still getting the crap beat out of her by All Might in this mental world. But she's also seeing all these memories. So All Might, every punch changes to a different person. And then finally, they get to when she escapes. The lead doctor was dying of a disease. The supporting doctors were severely injured. So most of them were injured by their own fault from a massive explosion that they kind of did from testing something that they shouldn't have. And she was in the same building. Her containment cell cracked, and she was able to use her blood to control the blood that they were letting out, and she used it to gather all the blood in her cell, and she drank it. And the side effect of her drinking blood from someone is they regenerate. So the lead scientist, the disease was killed off. He went back into his youth. The rest of the scientists healed perfectly. They went back like they looked like they were 20 again. And she went into a euphoric state because one of them had a AB minus. And they saw this and they asked who had a AB minus, who's whichever blood type is, or whatever anybody's blood type is, and all of them said that they're O or AB or A or B, except for one. He says mine's AB negative. And I was the one with the most severe wounds. And the doctor goes, okay, we need to try something. And he grabs everybody's wrists and slits them. putting blood into a little flat tester thingy. Whatever those growth trays are, whatever those are. But he puts it in one of those, and he waits till she wakes up from this euphoric state. And she wakes up, and he goes, okay, I want to try something, and this will help you and us. So if you ever go crazy from us doing stuff on you that you are still okay with, right? And she goes, yeah. And she's a little child. She doesn't know. She's mentally a little child. She doesn't know any better. And he goes, okay, we're going to give you certain bloods each day. And these bloods are different, so you tell us which one you like the best. The first day is O's, O negatives. She's like, okay, those are good. Then it's B's and B negatives. She has no effect on her. Then there's A's, A negatives, no effects. Then they go to the B, AB, and she reacts. She says it's sweeter than the rest. And they're confused because it's literally blood. There's no way that it could be sweeter. And the person says that they have no medical conditions now, that she had her quirk effect on her. So we don't know what's the difference. And the guy who had the AB negative is like, he's probably one of the smartest people there, but he puts it together that, okay, since I'm the only one with AB negative blood here, it looks like that I'm the one who caused her to go into euphoric state. And they all ask why, and he goes, well, we've tried everybody else's blood except for mine. I had the most severe wounds. I probably bled as much as you guys combined, and they all had like scrapes, scratches. A few of them had broken bones. That's it. He had his whole entire leg torn off. And he says that since mine were the worst, and I bled probably as much as you guys all put together, I probably put her in the euphoric state because of my blood. And he starts explaining why, and they go, oh yeah. And so he walks up to her and he goes, my name is blank, and I would like to get to know you. And this is the psychiatrist of the group. This is the guy that keeps every scientist sane, because they work with the same things over and over and over, and very dangerous things. And these things can be very taxing on people's health, mental health at least. And he gets to know her. And she's like 14 at the time of this accident. And this accident was massive on the news. It was about some quirk going out of control and blowing a laboratory up. And this quirk person dying because the laboratory is like, yeah, we had them sign a waiver. It was all criminals though. So everybody's like, okay, waiver. There's no need to do legal actions when they didn't sign a waiver. There was no family for that person to be attacked by or wanted by, so they're like, there's no need to take legal actions or think of any legal reason to do anything. And the psychiatrist gets to know this girl, and one day he walks out of there and he's crying. And they all look at him and they never see him cry. They've heard him cry and they know that when he's crying, but they've never seen him cry. So they walk up to him and they ask what happened in there, and he goes, she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember anything. She doesn't even know who she is. And they all look at him and go, what? of course she remembers who she is. She even gave us her own name. He goes, that was her mother's last name. That's all she remembers. And she remembers her first name. That's it. But she doesn't remember who her father is. She remembers a tall man. That's all she is. And her calling him dad, but that's it. And they all look at him and go, what? And he goes, if you don't believe me, just watch the tapes. And they go, what tapes? And he goes, you know I watch everything you guys do, right? And they go, wait, what? He goes, yeah, that's how I keep up with your mental health. And they go, so you watch everything we do? And he goes, no, I don't watch what you do with the chemicals. I watch what you do mentally. So I kind of have cameras set up to watch your faces. And they all go, are these on secure servers? And he goes, yeah. They're hard servers. They're tapes. They're literally VHS. And they go, what is VHS? And he goes, and the oldest scientist goes, bruh, you don't know what VHS is? VHS is how you don't hack things. That's how you get things that are unhackable. And they all go, isn't that what CDs are for? Or DVDs? And he goes, it's more secure than DVDs. But they only have a lifespan. They have a lifespan. Unlike DVDs. They go, oh. So why don't you use VHS for everything? And he goes, well, VHS is only for video. There's very little audio that you can do with VHS. Unless you use a tape recorder, which then there's a lot you can do with audio. And they all go, what's a tape recorder? And he goes, God damn it. Well, looks like I'm firing this bunch of idiots. And they go, whoa. You may be the oldest one here, but you're still not in charge. And he goes, I know. But still, you guys don't know what a VHS is and a tape recorder is? You don't deserve to be scientists. And they go, what? He goes, yeah. And we go back to the psychologist, and he's still crying. So he looks up the last name of Bloodfallen, and he walks in. And he sees that Bloodfallen has died. The last living Bloodfallen has died, and that this woman died to her own child. Well, apparently child. The records say that she adopted. And he looks at her quirk and what the quirk of the person that they have currently captive, almost literally. And he says that, well, this isn't no adoptive child. And he puts it together that this child is the number one hero's child. And he goes, oh, crap. What is this man doing? And he's seen the recordings of All Might. He's seen the recordings of Endeavor. And he knows their personalities behind the mask. He knows the face behind the mask. And if you guys have never heard that saying before, don't judge a book by its cover. That's its cousin. The face behind the mask. And sorry, you'll never see my face. Oh, I have requested that one of the people on my Discord, Laz, if you guys know her on Discord, or 21, or whatever you want to call her on Discord, I requested that she makes a VTuber model for me, so you guys can see somebody, put a face to the voice, or mask to the voice, because obviously there's going to be a mask. And hopefully you guys enjoy that little character. So he searches all this up and he gets close to her. So all of a sudden, this is in the present time, Recovery Girl gets a phone call. And she picks it up and says, "Hello, who is this?" And he goes, "What stage is she in?" And Recovery Girl goes, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "I know you're next to her, Recovery Girl. What stage?" And Recovery Girl goes, I still don't know what you're talking about." And he goes, "God damn it, stop joking around. If she goes crazy, we're all dead." And Recovery Girl goes, "Well, she's kind of in like a drunken high state from drinking blood." And he goes, "What blood is the person that she drank from? What blood type?" And Recovery Girl goes, "I think AB negative." And he goes, "Oh, good, thank God." And Recovery Girl goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, I am someone you've probably heard of but never want to meet. I am no one." And she goes, "You mean you're the mental quirk user, the mental quirk hero that no one knows about, Mr. No One?" And Aizawa hears that and goes, that name sounds familiar." And she goes, "Hold on, I'm currently talking to Mr. No One. Um, can you explain to me why you're worried about her?" And he goes, "Well, ever since she came to the laboratory that did illegal experiments on her, and I was undercover with, I got attached to her. And I'm currently still at this laboratory, and I'm getting evidence to bring this laboratory down. They're still not doing complete inhuman experiments, but they're still doing a little inhuman experiments, not enough to warrant us raiding this place and making this place a ghost town now. Unlike that one place. Oof, that one place, bad. So many freaking villains there now. But anyway, and she goes, "So why are you worried about her?" And he goes, "Well, I kind of acted like a father figure to her, and I kind of got attached to her like she's a daughter to me. So I'm kind of worried about her, and I'm the one who helped her escape prison." And Recovery Girl looks at the phone and says, "Aizawa, a hero helped a villain escape prison." And he goes, Whoa, she's not a villain. I used my memory quirk to sift through her memories and see her life story, and I saw everything, including when she went berserk. The only person she killed was accidentally her mother. There is no reason for her to be locked up as the number one villain. But that'll help villains stay away from UA if she is there. So, and they all go, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, if I tell you now, it's kind of a spoiler for the story." And he then looks out into the middle of nowhere and says, "Hey, listener, I know you're listening." And God damn it, I forgot I made a Deadpool person. Shut up, Unsmooth. And I go, and I freaking hate him. Shut up. I'm trying to tell them something. What is it? Freaking nobody. No, I'm not nobody from Fast and the Furious. Good movie. Ooh, you watched Fast and the Furious last night, yeah? I am none of your concern. Well, since I am in your head, Unsmooth, kind of is my concern. I am the voice in your head yelling at you that you suck. And I'm the one telling you that you are a disappointment. Freaking Hey, Mr. No One. I can hear you, you know. I know. Well, listeners, this is just little of me from the story. I'm Mr. No One. I am. If Unsmooth finishes that texting story that he's planning on finishing, I will finish it. But you'll be known as the smooth criminal. I am the unsmooth criminal. God damn it, I really hate the freaking voice in my head. Well, I hate you too. So shut up, unsmooth. Fine, just finish talking. Okay, well, I'm being the stories from now on. So if you all of a sudden hear a conversation that has no names, or me, or, well, unsmooth, saying, this is me, this is Mr. Nobody, or no one, whatever. I like Mr. Nobody better. Well, Mr. Nobody is already taken. Shut up, unsmooth. Fine. If you start hearing a conversation, it's probably me breaking the fourth wall. And I'll be in a lot more. Well, back to the story. Recovery Girl says, who are you talking to? He goes, nobody. I have a split personality disorder. And it kind of gets in the way of my job sometimes. And she goes, I see. So what were you saying about people attacking UA? And he goes, I wasn't saying anything about that. And she goes, okay then. Well, Mr. No One, is there anything else you want to tell me about her? And Mr. No One says, well, no, if you can keep a steady supply of AB negative for when she goes berserk, then you're fine. But if she starts going berserk and she has no AB negative, she will rip apart whoever she sees. She will rip apart whatever she sees. And I suggest you guys run and hide, because if she starts ripping apart everybody, you can't stop her. And that's only when she's hungry. If she's full and she starts going berserk, it's easy to stop her. She's slow. And Recovery Girl looks at Aizawa and says, we always have to keep her fed. And Aizawa goes, how? We barely have any blood on campus as it is. It's all for transfusion. She goes, we'll ask students to donate. We have enough students on campus, and we'll say that it's for a hero in training that has a very destructive quirk if not treated by a transfusion of blood. And we'll lie to them. Because heroes lie all the time. He goes, I don't lie. And she goes, yeah, right, Aizawa. You've lied before. He goes, yeah, only one time. So Aizawa finally picks her up and puts her on the bed. And Recovery Girl goes, okay, now keep those straps off, and I will put little Miss Hagakure in another bed. And Hagakure is currently being held upon like a stuffed animal from Mizumi. And Aizawa goes, these are going to be my favorite kids in the class. And Recovery Girl sees why, because she was currently turned around. Hey, it's new. And she sees why, and she goes, oh, well, looks like I'm not needed here. And she walks off. In Izumi's mind, yes, this has been bouncing around. Sorry about that. But in Izumi's mind, we get to present time, where Mr. No One walks in and says, hello. Are you ready to get out of here and become a hero like you wanted? She goes, yeah. But don't they need me? And he goes, no, they're going to be just fine without you. And she smells blood, and she goes, is that blood? And he goes, no. No, there's no blood out there. And he waves his hand, and the smell of blood just disappears. And she goes, okay then. Well, is it really okay for me to leave? And he goes, yeah. Well, since you're currently in a very, very, very secluded area, you're going to have to break out. And he's like, I'm sorry, but this is going to hurt. And she goes, what do you mean? And he takes out a shotgun from his trench coat, and he cocks back the shotgun, and he blasts a hole through her gut. She regenerates, obviously. And since her clothes are made out of her hair, and they made sure that it was made out of her hair so it can survive her pushing against it, it regenerates with her. It takes more energy from her, which makes her hungrier, but it regenerates with her, and she starts going berserk. And he puts a muzzle on her, and he goes, this will keep you safe from doing anything you'll regret, but you need to go a little crazy to not go crazy. And his words come out like a flow of cool water on a warm summer day, if that makes any sense. So she agrees, and she finally leaves Tartarus, the prison, with all the supervillains in it. Yay! She's free! And she jolts awake, and she places her hand on something, and she doesn't know what it is. And she starts moving it around, and Higakure wakes up, and Higakure is currently being groped by Izumi because Izumi isn't looking at her hand. All she's thinking is squishy. Higakure being almost fully nude because her clothes were kind of drenched in blood. She was undressed by her recovery girl, and her clothes were washed. And since Higakure is fully nude, she feels the softness of Izumi's hands and how cool Izumi's hands are, because Izumi's body temperature is room temperature. Or whatever temperature that she was last in. She was under a thin sheet, so her body temperature is room temperature. Crap. Yawn. I hate yawning. But I'm going to end it there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, please consider hitting that like button. If you guys made it this far, what should you say in the comments? Say Mr. No One if you made it this far. Say Mr. No One. And what else? Consider subscribing. 5 videos an hour. Woo! If you guys like my content, consider looking for other videos from me, or go check out Fox one or ID4 Fox. Check out Shiro Senpai. She's a great YouTuber. Well, no one hears her voice, but she's still great. She's so much better at the physical interactions between characters. So if you guys want shows like or episodes like that, go right ahead. Go to those. Go check her out. I do suggest watching her Sombra What If. It is top notch. And if this is the first video or second video you've watched from my channel, hopefully this is not the first, because then you're missing out on the first episode of this, because this is part 2. Suggest you go watch part 1. Oh, I should have suggested that before. Oh well. If you guys do like my content, consider subscribing. If this is the second part or second video you're watching. I've been told, well, I'm just gonna start talking at this point. If you guys want to hear me rant about stuff, then go right ahead, continue listening. But if not, I suggest you guys go watch something different on my channel. But I've been told that I do gory scenes well. Fight scenes and gory scenes well. I know that's also a help since I've been watching action movies and detective shows ever since I was little. I've been a big fan of action ever since I was small. I've never really been a big fan of drama or slow shows. So romance and drama aren't really my thing. If it's swordsman / woman relationship where they talk with their swords instead of their mouths, then I understand. Or like in Knights and Magic, which I may redo because I kind of liked it and kind of didn't. You'll get a lot more action and, well, technological advancements in Magic. I prefer fantasy and sci-fi more than drama and romance. So that's just my personal opinion. Those are better than most. But if you're looking for the picture, I got it from a Skyrim mod. It changes the background of the loading screens. I don't know where the mod is. I have looked on the Nexus. I can't find it. I have only found it ever on Special Edition, the mods page that they have on Special Edition. So if someone can find it on the Nexus, link to me. So yeah, if you guys would like, join the Discord. Depending on if I premiere this or not will depend on if I put the Discord link in the live chat or not. But if you guys just saw my last premiere, which was, I think, last week, which I'm going to try to do more videos a week, but it was at 7:09, which is 6:69. I'm guessing no one made that. Correlation. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Talk to you guys later.